these sessions for new owners every month, and I have been really slack. So for the last couple of months, I haven't done these sessions. So the first Wednesday night of every month from now on is just going to be an owner's session. So there's no selling Thermomixes or anything like that. You've already got a Thermomix. We're just talking about using your Thermomix more and some bits and pieces about your Thermomix as well. And we will do some cooking, of course, because it's not really a Thermomix anything without some cooking. So before we get started, the chat box is down the bottom. Can everyone see that? If you can just type in the chat yes or no, if you are confident with cleaning your Thermomix, or do I need to go over some cleaning Thermomix? Daniela, you put yes before you even knew the question, so you can go again. Oh, Kate's not confident in cleaning. Okay, well, let's start there, because that's probably pretty important. I do have a YouTube video, still yes.
I am confident in cleaning.
You are?
Yes. No, we don't need to go through it.
Oh, okay.
Confident in cleaning. Sorry. Yeah, confident in cleaning. All good.
Okay, Daniela, are you confident in cleaning? Yes? Okay. If you're not, there is a YouTube video about cleaning your Thermomix. Yeah, there's some high points. It is dishwasher safe. You do pull it apart and put it back together, and I might just quickly show you the best way to do that, just in case. So when you've got your Thermomix like this, your best way to pull it apart is holding the handle and twisting the base, twist and off, and then grabbing, obviously, your blades out. Popping it in the dishwasher all separate like that is your best bet, or in the sink, soapy water. It doesn't matter if it all gets, what's the word? Submerged? Is that the word? I don't know. Anyway, when you're putting it back together, blades in, hold it upside down. Oh, thanks, Doc. Hold it upside down like that, and just pop your base back on like that, and just squeeze it together like so. Now, if anybody has any problems with arthritic hands or not much strength in their hands or anything like that, in the mix shop there is actually a tool that helps you undo the Thermomix as well, if that's a problem. You can do a pre-clean with the simmering basket in, Liv. If for any reason the simmering basket is really dirty on the bottom, you could do a pre-clean with it in, that's fine. Probably would bubble up a bit more because it'd be going through, but you definitely can. And all your bits and pieces all are fine just to go straight in the dishwasher as well, or again, hot soapy water in the sink as well. Rightio. I think they're all saying yes, they know how to clean it. Shane, is that right? I should have been more specific with my question. Okay, so now the next thing is COOKIDOO. Now, we actually do a COOKIDOO session once a month as well, where we just talk about COOKIDOO, how to do meal plans, shopping lists, creating your own recipes and all of that kind of stuff. And that's actually on the second Wednesday of every month. So 1 month we do that during the day, and then the next month we do that during the night. So I'll send you all a wrap-up email from tonight, and I'll put the link for that in there as well. So that's really good if you, like you said, Kate, a bit scared about COOKIDOO and all of that. A COOKIDOO session would probably be really good for you. The best part of those sessions is that we all share our favourite recipes at the end as well. So then you end up with like a few recipes to try as well. But tonight, I'm going to do a couple of little dishes and then just keep talking about all the bits and pieces. Any questions, just whack them in the chat and we can just answer those as we go. So everybody will have different questions, so just make sure you're asking anything that comes to mind, whack it in the chat because other people are probably thinking it as well. So with COOKIDOO and the meal planning, once you've actually put a recipe into your meal plan, it's really easy to find it on your Thermomix screen. So you go to your screen and you go My Week, and we're having trouble with this camera, but it's a bit blurry, but your My Week is there. You just touch My Week, and then the recipes that you've chosen for today will come up. You just hit them and you'll hit Start Cooking. So then you'll be in your recipe and you'll be ready to go. I am really, really lazy, and I pretty much only do recipes that are on COOKIDOO now because I start a new recipe. Yes, I do want to start a new recipe. Yeah, I'm lazy. I don't want to be looking at the cookbook and looking at the Thermomix and backwards and forwards, but if you like doing that, I'll show you how you can do that as well. So now we're just going to chuck in our ingredients. So probably my biggest tip when you're on your guided recipe with COOKIDOO is you want to make sure that your little bowl has got a 0 above it before you start putting your ingredients in, because that is where you can go wrong with your ingredients. And if you want to take it back to 0, you've got your tear at the bottom, so that takes it back to 0. Just make sure you're always on 0 before you start pouring your ingredients in. Okay, so now I'm just making a very simple pizza dough. Let me know in the chat if you have made pizza dough in your Thermomix. I reckon it should be one that everybody has to make to just see how easy it is. Because you won't ever buy a pizza base, or you know, you'll think twice before getting what do you call, like Domino's or any of those. Yes, pizza dough first one you did, Daniela. Excellent. It's great. Liv thinks it's great too. Yeah, it really is. Oh, look at that camera shade. What's happening? Oh, I don't know. Don't worry about that screen, darling. Just go back to me. We're having technical difficulties on our screen camera, but look, we're nice and clear here. You can almost see the screen better here than you can on that screen. Anyway, so yeah, your pizza dough is a really versatile recipe as well. Some people, if you haven't cooked from scratch before, oh, that one's better done. If you haven't cooked from scratch before, there will be a few ingredients in there that you might not have seen as well. So obviously your dried yeast, it does come like this at Woolies, or you can buy, it's in a little green box, little sachets of yeast as well. So if you're not going to be doing lots of baking with bread and yeast, the little sachets are good because they keep nice and fresh. But I buy it like this and keep it in the freezer, and we go through, you know, a bit of it. So yeah. The next thing is your baker's flour. Now, baker's flour is just plain flour but more glutinous, so it is better for breads and doughs and stuff like that. So I buy a 5 kilo, would it be, Shane? Yes. 5 kilo bag? Yeah, 5 kilo bag of baker's flour. It's down the bottom row at Woolworths in the flour section, and just make sure you keep it in a sealed container, or in the freezer. You can actually freeze that as well if you're not using it often. But it definitely gives you a better result than using just regular plain flour. And it's also cheaper because you're buying it in bulk as well. But plain flour still works as well. So, and then the other ingredients you would just have, I would say, because it's going to be some olive oil. We all have that. And I think one thing when you get your new Thermomix is getting your pantry stocked. A well-stocked pantry will make cooking in your Thermomix a lot simpler because you won't have to be getting all the ingredients all the time. So just start having a look at the recipes. Doing a COOKIDOO meal plan for that kind of thing is really good to know what you're going to need in that basic pantry as well. So I've chucked everything in there, and we are going to knead that for 2 minutes. Now, when you are kneading with your Thermomix, you do not leave it. So this is the only time where you can't walk out of the kitchen and just leave your Thermomix, because what can happen, very rarely, it's never actually happened to me, but it has happened to other people I know, is it can get uneven and it can walk off the bench. So when it's kneading, you need to stay close. We should make a little meme about that. If it's kneading, you need to stay close. There you go. Write that down, Shane. It could be. We could trademark that, maybe. Someone's probably already done it. Don't you face palm me. Rightio. Now, Liv was saying that she's still a bit worried about using her butterfly. So when you're using the butterfly, I'll just grab my other bowl while that's kneading. It's got water in it. That's a bit funny. my 14-year-old unpacking the dishwasher. Now, when you're thinking about your butterfly, see, other things fall off the bench as well when you're kneading. Okay, so if you can think of this as 2 high blades and 2 low blades. So there's 2 that are almost touching the base and 2 that are slightly up from the base. You want to put your butterfly in behind the high blade going clockwise. So like that, if you're going clockwise. So it's pushing, see how it's pushing now on the high blade? That will not fall off. Okay, put it in, give it a twist, and it will not come out. To take it out, you go backwards and give it a shake and it will come out like that. Okay, so behind the high blade, give it a twist and then put it on and you're ready to go with your butterfly. Now, the other thing with the butterfly, and if you ever forget, it is written on the butterfly, it's just written there, you won't be able to see that, but it is maximum of speed 4. So you do not go over speed 4 when you've got your butterfly whisk in. Now, if you ever do, you may hear this noise, and it means your butterfly's flung off and is getting chopped up in there and you'll need to buy a new butterfly. But if you're ever making something and you're under speed 4 and you hear that noise, then your butterfly will just be flinging around in your whipped cream or whatever. It will not chop it if you're on speed 4 or less. Okay, so this one's fallen off a few times. It's got a couple of little dints and stuff, but it's never lost its actual bits. I don't think you can actually see the few war wounds, but it won't chop it up. So you won't end up with the plastic in your food if you keep to under 4, okay? 5 will chop a wing off the butterfly. Rightio, now here's our pizza dough. And, oh, there we go. So Kate's saying, made that mistake once, plastic pieces in my mash. Yes, I think everyone, well, I haven't made that mistake, but lots of people I know have had plastic bits in their mash before, Kate, because people think that if you put it on quicker, it's going to make it better. You're going to whip your cream quicker, or you're going to be able to have more mashy potato, but it just doesn't work that way. Now, I'm using a Thermomix, so that is one of our host rewards, which I will talk about as well, about how you get all the bits and pieces that you need. But I'm just going to pop this pizza dough. I just oiled my mat a little bit, and I'm going to put my dough out. Now, if this was scones or something that had stuck to my blades and was really hard to get out, what I could do is I could put it upside down and I could just twist the base off, and then what will happen is the blades will drop through. And give it a little shake, the blades will drop through, there we go. And then it's much easier to grab your dough off your blades if you just your blades on the bench, and you can just pick your bits of dough off that. And then you can see here in my bowl, thank you Shane, is pretty clean. I can just grab that bit out with my fingers, and we can do the next thing. So that's how to get your dough out if you're struggling with dough. If it's really sticky, like I said, scones is much stickier than that, but it's a lot easier to just scrape it out as well. Oh, there we go, great. Behind the high blade, there you go. Yeah, cool. And you always just remember that, Liv, because it needs to push the high blade, and it's always going clockwise, so it's pushing the high one so it doesn't fall over the little one. Anyway, right, so here's my pizza dough. And like I said before, and it sounds like everybody's probably made a pizza dough. The pizza dough recipe, this is just the basic pizza dough in the basic cookbook on COOKIDOO as well. And you can make 2 family-sized pizzas with this, or you can make like any type of scrolls with this. You can make little mini pizzas, you can make pizza pockets. You can use this same dough for so many things. So if you master this dough, which is not hard, it's 3 steps and I think anybody could do it. This dough is really good and really versatile. You don't even have to prove it for the total time that it says. So especially when I'm doing demos, I only usually leave this for 5-10 minutes, and then I whack it in the oven and it comes up as a beautiful bread. I'm going to have it with my stir fry that we have tonight, and it's really versatile if you need just a side bread type of thing. So it is a winner. of a recipe. Rightio. Now we're going to continue in this bowl because it's pretty clean. So I'm just going to continue in this bowl. I'm going to go back into my week and I'm going to make the sticky chili beef with no chili because my kids won't eat it if I put chili in it. But this is one of the high heat recipes. So this is something that you couldn't do in the TM31 because we didn't have high heat in the TM5 or the TM31. But this will just show you what the high heat kind of does as well. Make sure you are popping questions in the chat for me too, because otherwise I'll just keep talking. Okay, so I've already done the start of this recipe, which was just to put your beef in a marinade. So you could do this in the morning. This is a really quick recipe if you've got your beef marinated. And how you do that, a little tip, say, because I know I've already done this bit, if I go back to this screen where you just see your recipe on here and you hit down, this will have all your ingredients and all your preparation steps. Now, if you want to jump to a step because you know you've already done, like step 1 was place the marinade into the mixing bowl, then put the steak in and stir it around and all of that. I already know I've done 1 and 2 and I want to go straight to step 3. So I just touch step 3 and that pops up for me. So I don't have to skip through to find where I'm up to. So that's a really good tip for, especially if you're going to prep stuff ahead of time. You can just do half the recipe and then come back and do the rest. Rightio. So now this, like I said, this is a high heat recipe. So we're going in with some sesame oil. Oh, that smells yummy. Rightio, add the marinated beef, ensure everything's in there, and you put the marinade and everything in there. Make sure I scrape all that goodness in there. And like I said, you could do that, or you could have that marinating all day if you wanted. Now, I don't have my blade cover, but I mean splatter guard, but you guys will have a splatter guard. Is that what we call it? Splash guard, not splatter guard. I knew I was calling it the wrong thing. Your splatter guard. Shane, I don't have it down here, do I? No, that's okay. It's the flat round bit that goes on the top that actually has a little handle like this and locks on top of your bowl. Oh, look, he's found one. Thank you, darling. Here's one we prepared earlier. Okay, so this is your splatter guard, okay? So make sure that you always are using this when you are told to use this. Mostly when there's high heat and it just doesn't want any oil to come out, especially if you've got your head over there looking at it. We don't want anyone to get splattered in the face with oil. However, if you do lose it and you can't find it, just continue on with your recipe because it works without it, but don't say I said, okay? And then your high heat, can I just have the screen quickly? Yeah, thanks. So your high heat is just 1 speed. So you just turn it, and when you see this little symbol, it means that your Thermomix is just doing full maximum heat, and as you can hear, possibly you can hear, is that it stops and it heats up and then it turns every now and then. So it's just like having something on the stove or in a fry pan where you give it a bit of a shake and then you leave it to to cook up, and then you give it a bit more of a shake. So that's what the high heat does. And for this recipe, it's going to do high heat for 5 minutes. So there we go. Now, did someone just come off mute then to ask a question? No? I'm hearing things. All good. Rightio. So, now this recipe also asks for, I think, 300 grams of mixed veggies, and all I had was 2 carrots and some snow peas. So you can actually, this is a really versatile recipe because you can just use whatever veggies you have. In the picture, they've got the little baby corns and snow peas and carrots cut better than that, but just chuck in whatever you've got. This is a very good one for whatever your family will eat, is what you need to put in for this recipe. So now I'm going to get my pizza dough happening. Now, I'm using a pizza tray from the mix shop as well. Who's made their first purchase from the mix shop? Tell me in the chat. We spend lots of we spend lots of time in the mix shop. Who's had a mix shop purchase? Let me know what it was. I want to know what it was as well. I know Olivia has. Come on, Liv. Rightio. So like I said, you can definitely get 2 whole pizzas out of this. And my rolling pin is not down here, is it? That's okay. It's all right. I'll use something else. Here, I'll just use a jar. It'll be fine. I'm very versatile in what I can roll anything with, because I've done so many demos at people's houses where I say, oh, have you got a rolling pin? And they do not have a rolling pin. So I've rolled pizza with bottles and jars and wine bottles. Wine bottle is probably the best thing if you've got a wine bottle. The next best thing. Rightio. So now there we go. With our pizza, that is what we want to see on our pizza. And like I said to you, that wouldn't even been 5 minutes of proving time, and we're ready to go with our pizza. So then I'm just going to chuck him on. Actually, I'm just going to give him a little spray just in case of oil. And then I've got some cheese here, because I'm just going to have tea tonight is going to be our chili beef and just a little crusty pizza with that as well. And I am going to put some cheese on this that I just found in the freezer. Now, if you haven't, who's grated cheese in their Thermomix? No. Okay. So, has anyone got a cutter for their Thermomix? No, it's a little bit of a sore point. Oh, there you go, Kate. She's got plenty of wine bottles, no rolling pin. There you go, Kate. So, if you don't have a cutter, you can get a cutter down the track. Don't know when. I don't want to talk about it. But in the meantime, you can grate your cheese in the Thermomix anyway. We've been doing it for the last 11 years without a cutter. And what it does, can you just show the overhead camera there, Shane? It's like this. It's like little tiny pieces. That's what it does to cheese. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's what it does to cheese, okay? Just speed 9, whatever kind of cheese you've got, tasty cheese, Parmesan cheese, you name it, you can cut it you can chop it or grate it in the Thermomix. Now, if I was just chucking my cheese on a pizza like this, I would still want to just chop it in the Thermomix anyway, because it doesn't actually matter what it looks like. If I was going to put grated cheese on like a salad or somewhere where you actually saw the cheese, then the cutter does it in nice strips, like what we expect grated cheese to look like what you buy at the shops. So that's the difference. But totally okay for the time being to just do your cheese like that as well. Okay, I'm going to put that one aside because my Thermomix is dinging. That's our high heat time done. And it wants us to transfer the beef aside now, which I'm going to pop into my thermoserver. And that beef is done. So, and actually now, I want to transfer this to my thermoserver, but I don't want to lose my liquid that I've got in there. So I want to actually grab the beef out rather than pouring it all in, okay? So, I'm just going to do it that way because we want to actually steam our veggies a little bit as well as stir fry them with the little bit of liquid that's in there. And if you wanted to make this recipe for more people, which it actually, like I said, this is not 300 grams of veggies, but if you wanted to make it for more people, you could actually go back and do another 300 grams of beef now for 5 minutes if you wanted to as well, which I know lots of people with bigger families, that's what they do here. So now we're going to chuck all our veggies in, which I'll tell you how many I've got. I've got 120 of carrots and takes it up to 211 with 213 with snow peas. So I'm a little bit under, but that's okay. It's all good. And we can put a bit more sesame oil in. I'm not going to because I've left all that in there, so that's all good. And now we're going to stir fry. Now this, can you show that screen? It's not very good, but you'll kind of get the idea. When you see this little, oh, there we go, doll, yeah. See, when you see this little symbol, that actually means you want your lid on and you want your simmering basket on top of the jug, like that, okay? And you say, yes, I have done that. And then we're going here. And now this is just going to do the veggies for 3 minutes. And then we're going to put it all back in together. Rightio. Now, what did Liv say? I've bought the thermo jug, trivet. Oh, this is my question about the mix shop. So, thermo jug, trivet, baking trays, cooling racks. Love all the products at the mix shop. Yes, they're all, like I say to everybody, they're all very good quality products at the mix shop. Don't go and buy them if you've already got that stuff. They're no better than probably what you've got, but if you need some quality kitchen stuff to go with your Thermomix, the mix shop is a really good place to start, because we have tried and tested them. All the consultants give their feedback on stuff when we first get them, and you know, they do research and stuff like that. So you can trust buying from the mix shop as well when you're buying that kind of stuff. Now, my other thing I was just going to say, so when I'm talking about how versatile this dough is I'm just going to do a couple of cheese scrolls as well while I'm here. Oh yes, Olivia! Good pickup. Don't forget to put your consultant's name in when you check out of the mix shop, because if you don't do that, then your consultant doesn't get paid for showing you the items. So Olivia, you might need to become a Thermomix consultant. That was a very good pickup.
I just really appreciate your videos, Gemma, so any way we can help you is always best.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really love seeing, so we get like a little email saying, you know, Olivia's checked out of the mix shop, and it's always good to see that your people are choosing you, and also using their Thermomixes as well, because I know if you just bought, you know, baking mats or, oh look, Shane's even put up our little words. I love you. We know if you're buying stuff at the mix shop, it must mean that you're loving your Thermomix because you're doing lots of cooking, and that's really what we want. So thanks, Liv. Okay, so with my dough, I have now, oh thanks, Doc. I've rolled it into like a, what would that be? Rectangle? Yes, a rectangle. And I'm going to just, I don't even have any sauce, do I? Do I have any sauce down here? No. It's going to be a very boring cheese only. But what we do is we put our toppings, so you can do whatever topping you want. Say if you wanted pizza, you could do like a pizza sauce, ham, pineapple, Vegemite scroll you can do. Yes, Shane, you like those, don't you? Bacon. Everything's better with a bit of bacon. So whatever you want on your scroll, okay? And then you want to give it a little twist, or a little, that's not a twist, what would that be? A little roll. Let's just come back here for a second. Now we're putting our sauteed beef back in. So have a look in there, Shane, if you can see. You might not be able to see without all the steam, but you can see that all our veggies are in there. They've kind of started cooking. I'm adding our beef back in. Our thermo server is now nice and warm, so that's good. I'm going to just knock those little bits of carrot down off the sides there. Oh, smells good. Rightio, next. Yes, I'm going to put my splatter guard on. Where's my splatter guard? Here she is. Because we're going to must be going to do high heat again. And then we're going to high heat now for 3 more minutes. Okay, back to my scroll. So we're going to twist this. No, what is it? We're rolling it, aren't we? We're rolling it. So we're rolling it up. So you can use your mat and you want to just roll that up like that. Shane, can you grab me a tray for these? Okay, so there you go. So what you want to get, just there, Duff. No, just here, somewhere there'll be a tray. So there we go. So you've got like a log of rolled scroll. Thanks, Doc. Thank you. And then you want to get, this is our best kept secret. You want to get a little bit of dental floss. Or you could use fishing line or anything like a piece of cotton, anything like this. And then you just put this under and you bring it up and you cut your little scrolls like that. And you just want to make sure you actually, if you want to get really pedantic about it, these mats have actually got, see that wasn't the same, but these mats have actually got measurements on them. So you could actually, you know, go to the 3 centimetre mark or whatever and be very good at this, but I am not. My kids will eat it, doesn't matter how high they are. And you can hear that bubbling away there. Probably, can you hear that? It's bubbling away on high heat. Finishing off that. And now the other thing we want to talk about tonight too is the thermoserver. Lots of people, not thermoserver, Varoma. Lots of people are scared to use the Varoma, so we'll talk about that in a sec too. So there we go, there's my little half a batch of scrolls. They're going to go in the oven as well. Just cheese, plain cheese. The kids will be happy, they won't care. Rightio. So your Varoma, so especially for those of you who haven't unpacked your Thermomix yet, you probably get a bit overwhelmed with all the bits and pieces, but this bit is your steaming attachment. So your Varoma tray and your Varoma lid, okay? So at times you could have something in your Thermomix, you could have your simmering basket in your bowl, so it could have potato or something like that, or rice in there cooking, and then no splash guard, but your Varoma on top with your tray, so you could have something in the Varoma, something on the tray, and your lid on. So you could have all your bits kind of working at the same time. And there's our stir fry done. Who has used their Varoma? Who uses their Varoma all the time? That's what I want to know. You go to the top of the class. Okay, now look, don't judge me on how boring this looks, but look, it's literally on the table and cooked within less than 20 minutes, this dish. So you could really pile the veggies up. You could actually double the veggies if you wanted, because the only things you can't change the amounts on by a lot when you're doing high heat, but because you're not actually doing high heat when the veggies are in there, you could really pile the veggies into this one. So there we go. Did you show that, Shane? Oh, there you go. Oh, there we go. There's our beef stir fry. Rightio. And just leave that in your Varoma. Of course, oh, thermoserver. Why am I getting thermoserver and Varoma mixed up tonight? Oh gosh. Anyway, you could have already done a boiled rice in there. So in your basket, you could have already done a boiled rice and have that in another thermoserver, keeping warm to have with that meal, or whatever you might like. So Danielle used it tonight for their gelatas and pad thai recipe last week. Excellent, Daniela, love it. Rightio. Now Rigo did just pop up the thing about the YouTube channel. So I will post, when I send everyone the email, I'll make sure and put a link to this. So on our YouTube channel, there are a whole heap of other basic videos of basic things that you can do in the Thermomix that lots of people forget that the Thermomix does. So I hope everybody's already done vegetable stock paste, but if you haven't, then it's there. And the boiled rice video is actually the #1 watched video, so most people love that one, so make sure you watch that one as well. Liv did chunky bolognese for lasagna and put mince in the Varoma. That's a really good tip, Liv, because with that recipe, the mince is, I think, 1 kilo and it fits in here and it goes inside the chunky bolognese recipe. But you can put as much as you can fit in your Varoma, just extend the cooking time a little bit, and you can make heaps of food in that recipe using your Varoma. So your Varoma is always good, especially if you've got to feed a crowd or you want to do some veggies. In the basic video, I do a mash and veg, and I use the simmering basket for the potatoes, and then I do all my veggies in the Varoma, and then I mash my potato at the end. So it's a really good one as well for using your Thermomix, even on the nights that you're not necessarily cooking a whole dish in your Thermomix. Just doing the veg in your Thermomix is really handy as well once you've got the hang of it as well. Rightio, what else do we need to talk about? How's my pizza going? Let's have a look. Now, any questions, guys? Speak now. Or my pizza's just got a little bit longer to go, but you can see it's all coming along nicely, and so have my scrolls, but I'll leave them in here for a little bit longer. Oh, host rewards. Thank you, Shane. Yes. So, the bits that you've seen me use tonight, the Thermomat and the oval thermo server. If you don't have one of those, chat to your consultant. You can bring 2 people along to one of our actual Thermomix online demos, or you can talk to your consultant and actually do a demo at your place. My customers can come to my house and do a demo in live. As long as you bring your friends and you're sharing the Thermomix with your friends, then we can give you codes to unlock these prices on these items. You pretty much need one of all of those things to go with your Thermomix. So chat to us about that. When is a good time for you to do that as well? Any other questions or anything that I haven't covered? Oh, I said it would be, Amy's late. We're done. You can let her in, but we'll tell her that we're done. Okay, guys, so if there's no other questions, I said these sessions are going to go for about 45 minutes, and we're on 44 minutes. So look at that. I'm pretty spot on tonight. Any other questions, please just come off mute and ask. Otherwise, have a lovely